hamper your sleep, that will hamper your gut health. I have worked in critical care units, I have worked in hospitals, I have seen people dying in front of me. In many severe cases, it could be very severe chest pain, and sometimes it's confused with heart problems.
Hello and welcome. You're tuned into Health Bites presented by RedFM Podcast. This is going to be a go-to series for all things health and wellness. I'm your host Tanishka Tripathi and this is the second episode of our series. In the last episode, we discussed everything about periods. Cramps, PMS, mood swings, cravings, literally everything. We discussed common symptoms, causes, and some much needed pain relieving strategies. And in this episode, we are shifting gears to a problem that affects millions of us on a daily basis: stress and the acidity caused by it. Did you know that you can have chronic coughing just because of acidity? These two are linked in numerous ways, the ways that we cannot even think about. Stress in your life just does not affect your mental health, but it can create a havoc on your digestion. So in this episode, we are going to unpack that how stress and acidity are related to each other. We are going to explore some common triggers and give you practical advices on how to tackle both of these so that this does not take a toll on your life. So stick around. This episode is going to be packed with expert advices, relatable examples, and actionable solutions. Hello Lovneet, how are you?
Hi Tanishka, I'm good. How are you?
I am good. तो हमने पिछले एपिसोड में पीरियड क्रैम्प्स, पीएमएस और इन सब चीज़ों की इतनी बात करी है. आई थिंक मतलब लोगों ने बहुत कुछ सीख लिया है. लाइक फ्रॉम सीक्रेट रेसिपीज, हाउ टू लाइक गेट रिड ऑफ द पेन एंड लाइक कैसे खाने से हमें बेटर हो सकता है, पीएमएस सिम्टम्स से हमें कैसे रिलीफ मिल सकता है. इन दिस एपिसोड वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट समथिंग वेरी वेरी कॉमन. आई थिंक इट्स अ विशियस साइकिल. लाइक काम है या कुछ भी लाइफ में अप एंड डाउन है तो स्ट्रेस है, एंड अगर स्ट्रेस है तो इट automatically leads to acidity, and when you have acidity, like your entire nutrition game goes for a toss.
Yes.
So what is stress for you? Like you're a working woman, so you work, मतलब आपको भी stress होता ही होगा. तो how do you cope up with the stress and how much physical effect does it have on you?
Stress is inevitable, but I think my routine, my lifestyle is one pillar that really helps me cope with stress because there is certainty there. I can control it. I think stress also comes from factors that you cannot control. So when you know the difference between both, it helps you cope with stress better. So I just focus on my action. And I think when you are physically building up on your strength, it also makes you mentally stronger. There's a very old saying, "Jaisa khaya ann, waisa hua man," right? So I do experience that. And as far as stress affecting my lifestyle, I think it's the other way around. My lifestyle affects my stress levels and keeps it calm.
Okay, so it starts with the lifestyle. And what factors of lifestyle do you keep in check?
Nutrition, obviously, but also I think if you are under stress, rely on workouts. Rely on workouts that you might enjoy. So find workouts that you will like. Like I love swimming. So if I know I have a stressful week ahead, I will not miss my swim, and that is like my meditation. And it gives me that mental and even physical energy to deal with what lies ahead, right? And focusing on your effort, focusing on your own rest, your recovery, with that comes the quality of sleep. So like you said, stress and your gut health are interrelated and they move in a cycle. There is another very important aspect to it, which is sleep. Stress will hamper your sleep, that will hamper your gut health. So if you try to fix that link of good quality sleep, it will help with stress, it will help with your gut health.
Okay, so now to like you are keeping it in check, but has it ever been like during your maybe college exams or something where your stress overpowered your nutrition or it took your health for a toll?
Well, I cannot recall any incidents, but I do feel there are days when you feel very overwhelmed. And the other very important practice that helps me is meditation. You don't have to do hours and hours to begin with, but just doing 10 to 15 minutes of daily meditation can really help you sort of gain more clarity. And I think that's what you really need sometimes, to pause and see things from a perspective that is different from a chaotic perspective. And that clarity helps you find your roadmap. And again, I think understanding things that you can control over the ones you cannot, and just having the courage to gracefully accept it.
Does it get better with age?
I think so, yeah, definitely. Also, I think with age, you understand what is more important. With my own practice, because I speak with hundreds of patients every week, it helps me understand that in life, what things matter and what things don't. Very early in my life, I have worked in critical care units, I have worked in hospitals, I have seen people dying in front of me. And I think when you, in your profession, if you see that a lot, then you definitely understand better what matters and what doesn't.
Yes.
So you can say it's a blessing, which I get from my profession.
Great. So, like for common people, what are the most common symptoms of acidity caused by stress?
The most common symptoms of acidity, basically, what is acidity? The acid that is in our stomach is moving up to esophagus and giving you discomfort. Now, this discomfort can come in many ways and it can go unnoticed. So, a feeling of heartburn, discomfort in chest, sometimes it could come up as bloating. For many people, it comes up as cough, like chronic cough that goes undiagnosed. And in many severe cases, it could be very severe chest pain. And sometimes it's confused with heart problems. So, acidity symptoms are not the same for everybody, but it could range from these different discomfort, chest heartburn, chest pain, cough, chronic cough.
So you can have like sour throat or like coughing because of acidity also.
Yeah, you can have a chronic cough because of acidity.
And what is the reason behind it?
Because of the acid causes irritation in your esophagus.
The acid
And
reflux.
yeah.
I guess. Oh,
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know. Like you would go
And
to
many
an
people
ENT
think that
doctor.
it's to do with your respiratory health,
Yes.
but many times it could be acidity also. It could be either or. So you have to go to the doctor to know your reason for chronic cough. But if you have been getting chronic cough with bloating and no clear other signs of any infection or respiratory distress, then it might be acidity.
So like you're a clinical nutritionist. So can you break down like how having stress like really affects your gut health? Like what goes in the body?
So when your stress levels are high, your body produces stress hormones. If your cortisol levels are high, which is a stress hormone, it disrupts your gastric emptying, it disrupts your overall digestion. And when it comes to acidity, actually, stress can make you more sensitive to acidity. So, when you are under stress, less amount of acid can also cause more discomfort in your esophagus or in your chest. So, when you are under stress, your symptoms are heightened. When you're under stress, your body produces more acid. Now, there is a lower esophageal sphincter, which is a ring-like muscle that that controls the acid in the stomach and prevents it from spilling over your esophagus. When you are under stress, that lower esophageal sphincter (LES) relaxes, so the chances of the acid to spill over are higher.
Oh.
And because it slows down your digestion, it slows down the rate at which the food will be moving through your digestive tract if you are under stress. So there are higher chances of feeling acidic, especially after heavy meals.
So like stress really plays out on your gut health.
Yes.
So,
And not to miss, stress affects your sleep. And there's a direct relationship between lack of good quality sleep and acidity. You'll see this. People who work night shifts, people who who do not get enough sleep at night, who have disrupted sleep, face more occasions of acidity.
and like there's a very common thing called stress eating. मतलब अगर थोड़ा भी stress होता है,
Yeah.
you tend to gravitate towards junk food. You
Yeah.
tend to eat some like it gives you a sudden sense of gratification,
Yeah.
a sense of reward, sense of feeling nice.
Yes, yes.
How does that play out on your body?
Unfortunately, it makes you part of the bad negative cycle, because when you are stressed, you crave junk food, and that is acidic ash food. It leaves acidic residue in your body, and then you feel acidic, then you cannot sleep. And then you don't sleep, your body goes through more inflammation. Um,
It won't help. It won't help. So, like when you're craving something to eat, you're like if you're stressing out a lot and you just want to eat something, what should be the go-to thing?
So many people crave carbs, right?
Yes.
When they're under stress.
Yes.
So I would say go for healthy carbs. So eating a banana, it's very alkaline in nature. It's a good source of good fiber. It's a good prebiotic, which feeds the good bacteria in your system. And it is a good source of magnesium, B vitamins, all the nutrients that you need to relieve acidity and stress. And it clears that urge to have, say, a sugary drink. If you like peanut butter, you can pair the banana with peanut butter, a healthy fat that will help further in relieving inflammation. Another very good snack could be potato. So having,
We
say,
can have potato.
aloo ki chaat, so aloo and dahi together with some pink salt could be a great snack when you are under stress, and it will also help you fight acidity, especially cold potato, because cold potato is a great prebiotic. It's high in resistant starch, it feeds the good bacteria, and it's very energizing. I think what we also need during stressful periods is true fuels, foods that help you sustain energy over a long period of time. So you would see that anytime you have a piece of chocolate or you're having a soft drink or very sugary piece of cake which is made with maida, you'll feel good for the first few minutes, 15 to 20 or maximum 30 minutes. And all of a sudden you face a dip in your energy, you feel acidic, you feel like there's a little bit of a change in the taste of your mouth, because acidity also changes, leaves a sour, bitter taste in your mouth. So that's not the best option to eat when you're stressed, and especially when you have gut-related issues.
So you have like a huge clientele, and like you have a lot of people from the corporate, world, like entrepreneurs or people working in jobs, corporate firms. Like throughout the day, there is a lot of stress, like a lot of situations that put you in
And
different
traveling,
sort of
they travel, leave in the morning, come back at night, taking flights
in different time zones.
Our lifestyle is such that you have to find right coping mechanism for stress and for your gut health. So important. That's why I feel everybody, regardless of whether you are experiencing symptoms or not, should start with an alkaline routine. And that's why I am 100% not in favor of starting your day with tea or coffee, because that's like the most acidic food you can feed your gut.
And I think
It's
that's
erosive.
the most common thing people
I know.
do. Like
It's
the first thing
acidic,
tea.
it's erosive, it doesn't help the good bacteria. And in fact, it's a stimulant. So it doesn't give you true energy. It just gives you that kick for some time. Then keeps you, it leaves you craving for more, right?
Absolutely. So, like, what should we have as the first thing in the morning?
So if you do have gut-related issues, especially acidity, a very good practice to start your day would be oil pulling. You take 1 teaspoon of coconut oil and you keep it in your mouth, swish it for 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes, and then spit it out. Don't spit it in your sink because it will clog the drains, but just spit it out, and then you start with hydration first. So you hydrate yourself, then start with either soaked manakka, which is an excellent prebiotic, or soaked fig, again a great prebiotic, and some healthy fats, soaked almonds, soaked walnuts. Again, I told you, this eating wisdom comes naturally to most Indians. And you would see that, our parents would start their day with water that has been infused in a copper vessel or silver vessel, kept overnight. Not many people do oil pulling, but then many people start their day with soaked nuts, soaked raisins, and they will not have tea or coffee as their first drink. I think it's only many of us busy office goers who'd be like, oh, where's my coffee? And then I'll go get ready and I'll eat my breakfast on the way to office. That's the worst practice for your gut health, eating breakfast on the go. Because acidity is not something that is only triggered by bad quality food. It is something that is triggered by bad habits day after day. And if you don't have these habits in place, you cannot completely conquer acidity with just food. Food will give you a relief for some time, But if your dinner is too close to your bedtime, you're having tea, coffee first thing in the morning, you don't chew your food, you're always in the rush, eating your meals distracted, on your phone, on your laptop, like the normal, I think, practice these days, that is with food, it's like you cannot enjoy or sit in peace for 15-20 minutes and enjoy your meal, especially breakfast and lunch. For most people, it is rushed.
Even dinner, I feel. Not dinner, you want to relax, so you'll watch something.
Yeah, you're right. You watch something, but it is relaxed. You might be spending a lot of time on dinner, but not a lot of time on chewing. You're still distracted.
Yes.
So this distracted eating combined with high stress levels is number one reason for gut health issues.
So your dinner or your lunch or your breakfast should just be about food. Even if it's like 10 minutes,
I
just
wouldn't
eat.
say it should be about food. It should be about mindfulness. I mean, we are running around for these meals and
Yes.
nobody has time to mindfully eat your meals.
Nice. You told about coffee. So how much coffee is apt for your gut health in a day?
If you're talking about acidity, coffee is actually a very strong trigger. So there are certain food triggers that will instantly give you an acidity attack. Caffeine, especially black coffee, alcohol, smoking, it's not a food but a habit. Very citrus fruit in concentrated form. So you would see tetra packs of orange juice. If people have that for breakfast, they'll feel acidic. Having very high concentrated tomato gravy, especially again packed tomato gravy is not freshly made. Even fresh tomato can give you acidity. So coffee is a very strong trigger, and even 1 cup can trigger it, especially if you're empty stomach. So the idea is you start your day with alkaline foods, like we discussed, a morning routine, and then before starting your breakfast, have a vegetable juice. A very good combination to combat acidity would be having ash gourd, which is white peta, with just a hint of ginger, not very strong ginger, like about 10 to 12 drops of ginger juice, and half a teaspoon of fresh aloe vera gel. And have that in the morning. Then after 15-20 minutes, have your breakfast. And in breakfast, don't have packed processed meat. I think that's one of the worst foods to feed your gut in the morning. And I think it's becoming increasingly popular, having sausages, processed meat first thing in the morning. Start with a probiotic. So whether it is having fresh dahi, homemade, if you are lactose intolerant and you're avoiding dairy for your gut health, then you can start with other fermented foods such as homemade idli, not a store-bought batter. Or you can start with a dal chila that has been fermented. And you'll feel much better with your acidity and gut issues.
Okay. So like when you're in a meeting or something, I have noticed this like very commonly, and it's a common habit. People have a habit of sipping on their tea or coffee.
Yeah.
So can you tell a dish, so can you tell a drink that can be like replaced with the tea or coffee and would help with the acidity?
I think we definitely need a perspective shift here, because I speak with very smart people who really care about health, right? But one thing they will tell me is, if I'm in a meeting, I cannot skip having tea or coffee. And I think it's such a cultural thing. It has become like, especially in corporate or for anybody who's doing long work hours, tea and coffee has become such a norm, which really needs to change now. And I feel you don't need that for alertness. In fact, if you exceed 200 milligrams of caffeine in a day, your sensitivity to caffeine reduces. So you're basically fooling yourself. You don't feel alert because you're losing the sensitivity. More caffeine you are having, less sensitive you become to caffeine. So you'll see people who drink too many coffees a day, there comes a point that they are not even affected by it. They will have a coffee and then go to sleep because they've lost the sensitivity.
Like after some time, it would become a normal liquid for you.
You lose the sensitivity to it, although the physiological impact still stays.
Like the acidity
it will give you acidity. It will give you stress, physiological stress, because it messes up your hormones. It's a stimulant. So beyond 200 milligrams of caffeine is a big no, because it makes stress worse. It's erosive for your gut health.
And it is not going to make you alert.
It is not going to make you alert. That you're fooling yourself. So what you can do is, I think what makes you alert, there is extreme temperature fluids. So you'll see the same impact you'll get with hot water. Maybe you add some lemon to it, add some black pepper to it, and you'll feel alert, because it's that hot fluid that's giving you that kick, not the caffeine anymore.
And this drink will relieve the acidic effect.
Well, not too much lemon. If you are facing acidity, then I would suggest have maybe a cup of green tea or chamomile tea or peppermint tea. These drinks help with relieving acidity. But substitute your coffee. Like if you're doing 5-6 cups of coffee in a day, you have to bring it down to 1 or 2 maximum. If you can completely delete it, you will see the change in your acidity right away. Because it's such a strong trigger. When you remove it, you see the change right away.
And in the energy levels, like if you completely...
So there is a withdrawal when it comes to caffeine. I think I'm talking to a caffeine head.
It's just so common, and it's like so triggering. Everybody knows it's wrong, but it's so common.
Yeah.
Like you would see it everywhere.
Initially, the withdrawal is there. You can't avoid it, especially if you're having like 5-6 cups a day, which is very common these days,
Yes.
Surprisingly. And give yourself 4-5 days, sometimes longer, to get used to it. If you're getting headaches, then maybe you don't reduce the frequency right away, but you reduce the amount. So there are different tactics you can take to in order to reduce overall caffeine.
And how does hydration help with the stress and the acidity caused by it?
When you're well hydrated, your hunger hormones are in control, right? You feel more in control of your appetite as opposed to a person who's dehydrated. Now, with that being said, when we are hydrated, there is better circulation, blood circulation in our system, that again helps with better oxygenation. So you feel, if you're dehydrated, you will feel brain fog. So it's not just nutritional deficiency, simple dehydration can cause brain fog. And I think many people also don't know how to hydrate well.
Yes.
Especially when dealing with gut health issues, and especially in monsoon. So not just having plain water, but if you are feeling lack of energy and you want hydration to help you with energy, then you need to have electrolytes with that water. So having chach with some pink salt in it, or homemade shikanji with pink salt. If you are into workouts and you're a runner, then you need about 6 to 8% carbohydrate also in that water, in that fluid, to give you optimum hydration.
And like, what is the right way to hydrate? Like I read it somewhere, it's good to sip water, but then like you cannot be sipping water all the time. Then you have a habit to drink water altogether. Like how to hydrate? What is like the right routine to hydrate?
It's a very simple test that will help you understand whether you're hydrated, dehydrated, or overhydrated. That's a simple P test. So you check the color of your urine. If it's yellow, that means you need to hydrate more. If it's light yellowish, it's okay. If it's clear, that means you have overhydrated. Even overhydration is not good. And for hydration, to help you with energy levels, especially in monsoon, what is needed is electrolytes. So having chach with some pink salt or homemade shikanji will be more energizing as a fluid than just plain water. And especially if you're an athlete, if you're running, if you're doing outdoor activities, then what you want is something like coconut water, which comes with a little bit of carbohydrates as well, which helps with better reabsorption of that water. So you want to drink water and absorb the fluids rather than having it pass through your system. So 3 things are important there with water: potassium, sodium, and 6 to 8% of good quality carb. So these fluids, shikanji, buttermilk, coconut water, they give you not just water, but also electrolytes and better reabsorption.
And it's like a common habit, have heard it so many times and read it so many ways, that like you can have 1 liter of water in the morning. Is it healthy to do that?
If you have water, empty stomach, especially water that was stored in a copper vessel or silver vessel, that does help you with your gut health.
Like
It
1
helps
liter
in
of
flushing. I don't think 1 liter is the right number for everyone, but yeah, about 3 glasses can be consumed if you don't have any kidney disease, not on any water restriction because of health issues. 3 glasses of water, start your day with that. You will feel very energetic through the day.
And like, can stress and acidity be caused due to any deficiencies?
Stress is, I mean, there could be various reasons you feel stress, emotional, psychological stress. But what we call physiological stress could be because of deficiencies. Vitamin D deficiency, B12 deficiency, lack of good fats in your system, omega 3 deficiency can lead to physiological stress. That's why whenever we see a person is undergoing stressful situation, we would recommend a diet that is very high on antioxidants. These are elements that help in reducing stress from the body. So, to keep it simple, if you can eat fruits and vegetables of different colors in a day, that will ensure you have good quality antioxidants in your diet, and you make sure that you have good fats, ghee, coconut oil, eating kacha nariyal, soaked nuts, sabza seeds, flax seeds, because fat has the anti-inflammatory effect on our system. And then to gain strength, make sure that you're getting enough lean proteins, be it yogurt, be it homemade chana, if you eat eggs. So, lean proteins and having the right ratio to carb. I think many a times when people are trying to remove carbs, they would remove fruits, they would remove whole grains,
Yes.
but they're also rich in antioxidants, B vitamins, and fiber. So, knowing your balance, knowing your numbers, so that you have the right energy to cope with stress. I don't think many a times I see people when they're trying to be healthy, they actually don't eat enough.
Yes.
And when you don't eat enough, it backfires for your gut health, it backfires for your energy. And as a biological coping mechanism, when you feel low in energy, what are the foods that we crave instinctively? Sugar,
Sugar.
high fat,
Yeah.
high salt. So, a packet of chips, chocolate, a piece of cake.
Aerated drinks.
So, it's so important to nourish well in balance. So, that right attachment causes detachment of
Yeah.
junk food.
So you'll have to attach yourself to the healthy food to get detached to the junk food. Like a lot of people I have heard, and I've seen it a lot of times, that people have salads at night during dinner. So, or they like eat salads for dinner.
Yeah.
Is that healthy? Does it help with the acidity, or it like backfires?
The kind of salad you're eating, number one, is important. So if you're having raw vegetables, try to keep it for lunch. Don't keep it for dinner. Because for dinner, you want to have cooked vegetable. After sunset, our digestive fire is also reduced. So you want to keep foods that are easy to digest. Vegetables are very alkaline and they help in relieving acidity. But that fiber at night can cause bloating, and sometimes bloating makes acidity worse. Now, talking about type of salad, there are so many types of salad dressings that are available these days, and so many add-ons, right? So, if you're eating a salad that has a packed dressing in it, Thousand Island or
Mayonnaise.
yeah, then you're not helping your gut at all. Especially if you're adding those breadcrumbs and some people add processed meat to it, processed cheese to it, and they're mixing like fruit also there and some lentils also there, just mixing too many foods. It's best to eat your salad for lunch and keeping it very simple without these packed dressing. Only then salads help. But eating a salad, especially outdoors in monsoon, can give you more digestive distress, more bloating, and possibly also higher chances of getting infection during this season.
ओके तो डिनर जो है वो सोने से कितने घंटे पहले होना चाहिए?
3 hours.
3 hours.
Give a gap of 3 hours between your dinner and sleeping if you are facing acidity.
So it should be around 8, 7.
Depends on what time you sleep. If you're sleeping at 11, then by 8 o'clock, finish your dinner.
And if you're sleeping by 2?
Then, well, you will be hungry again, right? If you eat at
Yes.
8, then you're hungry again. Then you plan a snack that is alkaline. So again, if you're very hungry again after, you can eat a banana, or you can eat some potato that is cold in temperature, not very hot potato, because they are different in their nutritive value. And make sure your sleep timing is fixed when you're trying to fix your gut health. I see that a lot. If you don't fix your sleep timings, you cannot fix your gut health. So you have to sleep at the same time every day. That helps your body repair better. That helps you create a routine for yourself for your meal timings. Then you'll have more fixed meal timings. Like I said, it's not just the food quality, but your habits and your routine and your timings that really makes a difference in your gut health.
So like we need to fix the sleep schedule also. Like what time are you sleeping for how many hours? It
Yes.
has to be similar.
It has to
every
be,
day.
consistently similar.
Okay, and if you're going outside, like somewhere for a dinner or a lunch, and you have to eat something from the restaurant you
Yes.
are at, and you were having bad acidity, bad gut that time, what would you suggest?
I would suggest go for a simple preparation. So it could be dahi chawal, dahi with vegetable pulao, a clear soup, a clear chicken soup with a sourdough toast, if it's a different cuisine other than Indian. Um, don't go for gravies. Gravies make acidity worse. So avoid this masala, avoid spicy food. Avoid, in Asian especially, avoid the sauces. So if you're in an Asian restaurant, just go for a simple stir fry tossed in a good quality oil. Make sure that there is no excessive salt used, because that will give you bloating and again make your symptoms worse. So simple preparation of food you should stick to when you're eating outside and you have gut related issues.
And nowadays, like a lot of grilled food is, I think, trending, like grilled chicken,
Yeah.
and it is considered to be healthy. Like with some greens, you'll have a good amount of good grilled chicken. How healthy is that? Like,
There is a lot of concern when it comes to having grilled protein that has been cooked at high temperatures that can be possibly carcinogenic, so very inflammatory in nature. Grilling as a cooking preparation, as a method of cooking, is only okay as long as you don't see any charred pieces of protein. If it is those blackened charred pieces, that means you have overcooked it. And if you have overdone it, then it's actually inflammatory rather than helping you stay fit. And I know many people opt for those options because it's without gravies and it's low cal, but it's highly inflammatory.
and everybody has a routine, and if they're like following a high protein routine, they're working out, they need more protein in their body, and with that they have acidic issues.
Yeah. High protein diets increase acid production in the body, especially if you're relying on animal based protein. So, if you are a non vegetarian and you're eating too many eggs, too much chicken, not eating enough carbs from fruits, vegetables, whole grains, then you will be prone to more acidity. And it leaves an acidic ash in your system. So, it's very important. That's why it's not just about matching the numbers. You need to also understand the constitution of your diet. So, how do you balance that with alkaline food? Start your day again with a probiotic, with a vegetable juice before having the protein. Make sure your protein is paired with a healthy carb. Make sure you're having fruits or a probiotic for your mid meals. Sipping on fluids such as peppermint tea or chamomile tea or fennel water, soft boiled in water. These drinks can really help you reverse your acidity.
So what are like the nutrients that can help you ease out the acidity?
Prebiotics, probiotics, alkaline foods. So that would be foods that are rich in fiber, antioxidants that, like we discussed, and in micronutrients, B vitamins, magnesium, and foods that promote melatonin, because magnesium and melatonin helps you sleep better, and good sleep helps you with better gut health.
And what can be a good source of magnesium and melatonin?
Making sure you have during the day you have a katori of dahi, you have a banana, having foods that are so not having, like you said, like just grills and salads for dinner, having a wholesome meal like a dal chawal preparation, or paneer sabzi roti preparation. That these foods have tryptophan that helps with melatonin release in the body.
I love how easy this is. Like, it is all like our regular food, like especially Indian
Yeah.
households.
Yes,
I
it
feel it's
is.
so, and we look at like salads, I like meals that can be eaten by fork.
Yeah, I think we want to make it look more exotic, but it
Yes.
doesn't need to be complicated. It's and that's why nowadays you see there is a sudden rise of inflammatory disorders, gut health
Yes,
issues,
yes.
hormonal issues, because we are just shifting away from what a traditional Indian concept of eating was. I wouldn't say just food, but also practice of eating, like eating in gratitude, slowly eating your food, mindfulness. All those things are so important to optimize your digestion.
Yes.
You cannot take it for granted.
Yes. So a lot of people nowadays are like they are quitting on gluten.
Yeah.
A lot of gluten-free
Yeah.
diets have come around.
Yes.
Is it fine? Is it healthy?
So gluten is inflammatory, right? Especially if somebody is intolerant or sensitive or allergic to gluten. But not everything that is gluten free is helping you fight inflammation. I think that's the biggest myth and a biggest problem in this gluten-free market is that they are selling cookies and cakes and packed products that are equally inflammatory, just with that marketing gimmick that it's gluten-free. It might be gluten-free, but it's not stress-free.
So how to find those right gluten-free dishes?
Go for wholesome food that is naturally gluten free. So, rice preparation is gluten free, right?
Yes.
Certain millets are gluten free. Sorghum, which is, you can have jawar ki roti if you're on a gluten free diet. If you're looking for different cuisines, so like go for a risotto instead of pasta, go for rice preparation instead of noodles in Asian. So, go for foods that are naturally gluten free. But having gluten free cake, gluten free cookies, is not going to help your gut health.
It's not going.
No, it won't. So, sorry, it won't.
So usually in stress you wake up at night and then you end up like binging on food.
Yes.
So what would be the worst midnight snack, and according to you, and what would be the best midnight snack?
I think packet of chips or cake, chocolate, these are worse because they are not filling foods. But you'll see, no matter how much cake you eat or chocolate you eat, at that point you will feel, oh my god, I'm feeling a bit too much. But then after an hour, you're all of a sudden hungry again.
Yes.
It's because it leads to spike in glucose, then a sudden dip in glucose. So it's not good for your hunger hormones. So that cycle of spike and dip is worse for your gut health, for your stress levels, for your insulin, for your weight. But thinking of a good midnight snack, home roasted makhanas with less salt, or eat a banana, eat an apple. If you have leftover from dinner, like some dal chawal, eat that again. It's so much more satisfying than eating a piece of cake.
Yes.
So it really depends on how hungry you are and how long you need to stay up for. So if you know that you're going to be staying up, you will be up for another 3-4 hours and you are hungry, then fuel well. Be ready for that night or whatever all-nighter you're trying to pull. But not being prepared and not planning in advance and then just relying on your instinct. Your instinct at that time will always take you towards junk, and especially if it's already present in the pantry, right?
Yes.
If it's there in the fridge, how long will you just look at that piece of cake?
Yes. The slice of cheese.
Yes.
So a lot of people that a lot of your clientele travels a lot.
Yes.
So what do you suggest for like flights or traveling? What food to go for?
See, flight food is very dehydrating in nature. It's very high on salt, very, very high on salt. So if you're flying a lot, you have to make sure that before you take off, you have either nariyal pani, banana, potassium-rich foods. to sort of balance out that sodium if you're going to eat on flight, although I don't recommend eating on flight, but that's not always the option, right? And hydrate very well on flight, because staying hydrated helps you with combating those side effects. Some people would have swollen feet, bloating, discomfort like digestive discomfort, belching, constant gas. That goes away if you are prepping well in advance.
And if you have not prepped well, what to do after that to like sort of relieve it?
Go for low salt meals then through the day,
Okay.
right? Eat simple preparations, have more fruits, have more yogurt that day, stay hydrated, have fluids like nimbu pani, nariyal pani, eat more fruits.
So, what is that one biggest myth that you see around about acidity caused by stress?
I think many people think that having cold milk will help in relieving acidity.
It does not.
It does for that time. I was just coming to that, that for that period, having cold milk, sipping on cold milk actually reduces your acidity. But milk as a food product actually increases acid production. It is high in fat. So it causes digestive distress. For the next cycle, it makes it worse.
Oh.
So long-term effect of milk is not good on acidity. And especially if you're having too many gut health issues like bloating, irregular bowel movements. So don't rely on cold milk. That wouldn't help. I think what you need to do is you need to sort of go through your diet, understand what are the acidity triggering foods, because different individuals may have different triggers for their acidity. Sleep hygiene, maintain a very good sleep hygiene. Get screens out of your bedroom. Many people have TVs in the bedroom.
Yes.
They sleep with their phone by their bedside, looking at Instagram, but that does not help you sleep well. That does not help you with your gut issues also, because sleep is so closely tied with your gut health.
For a lot of people, they feel bloated and like acidic and have those acid refluxes right after they wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
So, to curtail that, what should be the perfect nighttime routine?
Have your dinner 3 hours before sleeping. Get your screens out of the bedroom, right? 1 hour before sleep time, no screens at all. And you can have black raisins, kesar, infused water about 45 minutes before your bedtime, and that will help you with sleep. It will also help you with your acidity.
Great. I think you've shared so much about stress and your acidity caused by it. It will help a lot of people. But if you had to create a stress buster menu, so what would be your top 3 dishes?
The vegetable juice, so ash gourd, aloe vera, hint of ginger. This juice in the morning. Sip on fennel water after your meals, or chamomile tea or peppermint tea. Stick to simple preparations like dahi chawal, dal chawal, that is not spicy, and avoid tomato-based gravies.
Okay. It was so helpful, Lovneet. मेरे को लगता है ना इतने सारे लोग जो ऑफिस जा रहे हैं, काम कर रहे हैं, dealing with stress and irregular sleep schedules, उनको बहुत ज़्यादा help मिलेगी through all these recipes. And what I loved about this is like all these recipes are so easy to make.
Yes.
Like they are part of our regular diet, and especially Indian households में तो ये सब है ही. You have dahi, you have dal chawal, you have everything. Like it's there. For processed food, you'll have to go and get it, or you'll have to order it. But all of this is there. This episode was very helpful, and it was lovely with you. Thank you, Lovneet. See you next.
Thank you.